It's time for that game you played when you were a child, and some people still play it as an adult. 7 Minutes in Heaven, which truly means we're going to tell you about our favorite scenes in this movie. Durden, take us away. That's for my Cabanados.
For what?
Cabanados. I am from.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, so crossing the River Jordan over to number 3. The pipes scene. Pulling on the pipes. They are pulling on the pipes under Astoria, and this somehow f***s with the water fountains, the sinks, and the toilets. Astoria has the most shoddy plumbing of any town in the history of towns.
Okay.
This kind of goes back to the hear me out. This is one of those moments that are so unbelievable, but even you don't have to imagine that this is all in Oz. You don't have to, this is the beauty of 80s movies. This is what made 80s movies so great. It's one of those things where this is so unbelievable, but by this point in the movie, you're along for the ride because the movie is done so well and everything is done so effectively that it's something that today's movies get wrong, where today's movies, they fail at trying to be realistic. There is 2 different kinds of reality. There's movie reality and there's reality.
And there's Mikey's reality.
Reality doesn't work in the movies. When you try to capture that, it comes off as weird. It just doesn't work. There's something great about movies in the 80s where they get the right things real, being the emotion, the relationships. Those types of things are real. And then they double down with hijinks that are just over the top and insane, like a bunch of kids pulling on pipes, and you're seeing shit happening all over the town in this wild montage. And you're just like, I know this could not possibly happen, which is why I love that it's happening, because it's just done so well.
To me, it's a very slippery slope, but what I will say to that is that to me it was something about the 80s, like you said, the nostalgia moment. To me, I liken to the term less is more. Because they had to be practical, it made you be more creative. And so I think those people are kind of out of a job nowadays, because now they're either gags or they're CGI. I look to those people like, man, this is how they were solution finders. So to me, that's what's missing. We come from an era in 80s, we love them, but once it got to the 90s, it was all like everybody went crazy with what computers could do and what animation could do. We forgot about what was done before. I think that's really what it was for me.
You think about the story of the Goonies itself, how their adventure is so far-fetched, but it's grounded in just enough reality. The Fratellis, they are a real crime family, actually based on
don't you do it.
No, that's
don't
coming
you
up
do it.
in... Look, you fucking did this. As soon as you said don't do it, you shut my whole computer down.
I bet I did.
The 80s movies nailed movie magic, where they ground you in just enough reality that you can fully enjoy and embrace the ride that they take you on. You know you're watching a movie, but it still gets to it gets more to the inside of you than any movie that came out recently could.
For me, it was this is more so as we're doing our 7 Minutes in Heaven here, I combined 2 scenes, and they're both at the beginning. It wasn't my favorite scene. It was my favorite scene to discuss, because let me tell you something. This is not The Rock. This is not Escape from Alcatraz. This is not some top maximum security prison. As soon as the movie starts, there is the opening. It's not that easy, number one, to escape from jail. And as a kid, my mind wasn't fully developed. And so when the cop comes in and he's like, what's going on? He reads the note, which is 80s magic. I like that, but I'm not really dead. That's funny. But then he gets hit with some type of Batman, some punch that should have never hurt him, and he's down. Okay, let that ride. So I guess he passed Astoria. They don't have black people, so clear. And I'm sorry, I will give this film credit for one thing. There weren't any black people in the movie, not even in jail. Yeah. Thank you, Goonies. You won't get canceled just for that reason alone.
Real bad.
That would have been horribly bad. But with that being said, it's county jail. You don't need to go all out. His brother's outside setting up these elaborate traps. His mom's, he has a wheelman. You don't need a fucking wheelman to leave county jail. They process you, you bond out. That was one of my favorite scenes.
It's opening the gate for Chunk all over again. Just overkill for
overkill.
something that... And I've got... my room for improvement has to do with that jail scene, because it's just something...
A lot going on. Okay. All right, go, brother. Yes.
I will say that, piggybacking off of what you just said, that whole opening scene is my number 2, mainly because of the car chase and the you get the score for the first time. Dun, 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 dun.
How about introducing all the main characters in one opening? That's very courageous.
And man, they nailed pacing.
Oh yeah.
And there was the shots in that scene were so cool. Like in the car chase, one of my favorite shots is there's this interior car shot that you see the chaos happening outside of the car as the car is like spinning around in the chase, and you see the cops out the windshield and things like that. It reminded me of the diaper heist scene in Raising Arizona. It was borderline cartoonish the way it played out. But the whole montage together, I mean, they come out the gate swinging on this movie. And
you meet 90% of the cast within the first 5 minutes, and that's hard to do when you haven't done any character development. I shouldn't care about any of these characters, but I learned so much from Chunk. I don't know what kind of pink Pepsi that was. That was not Pepsi that came. He must have put some strawberry syrup, which kids did back in the 80s. But when you notice, when he slams that stuff up against the window, that's not regular fizz. I mean, it's fizz, but it's like pink or some shit like that.
It does. Not only does it introduce the characters, but it introduces you to the pacing and the energy of the movie.
Correct.
It lets you know that you're in for one hell of an.
If we're starting with the car
adventure.
scene, where the are we ending with the boat floating aimlessly?
Yes.
All right. With that,
holy shit.
Before I watched what people consider where I come from, white films, I watched black and white films. Where one of the things I used to watch was the Three Stooges. There's one part of this film that really made me think about the Three Stooges. I don't think it's a very known scene, but people know it. It's when the two brothers and the mom, they're coming back from getting pizza, and he asks about the pepperoni. And
why pepperoni? Huh?
And the mom's like, blah, 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 and she slaps him. And so it's like,
that's what.
I liked all the moments with the Fratelli family.
Oh yeah, they killed it.
Going all
literally
on each other. The Fratelli family, the mom and the sons, they reminded me. I don't know if you've in your white movie history, if you've seen the original Pete's Dragon, the musical. I mean,
I know about it. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, it's white. It's
like Birth of a Nation white. The original?
It's just the epitome of whiteness as far as like people being white and like musicals and stuff. But
okay. Archie Bunker, gotcha. Okay.
One of my favorite songs in a musical is "The Happiest Home in These Hills," and it's sung by the family that's going after Pete. And that family at the beginning of Pete's Dragon reminds me a lot of the Fratelli family. Happiest home in these hills. Code word for our friends is Pikachu.
Are you going? You found a fucking way to tie in fucking.
No, well, you mentioned Ronnie, and it reminded me that something that I wanted to start doing. We're about halfway through the episode. Now, next time you talk to Ronnie after this episode airs, be like, hey, what's the code word? And I'm going to do the same thing to my friends. Be like, you didn't fucking watch.
Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu.
Which is funny because you didn't peek at us, so we're peeking at you.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
Come on, friends. You got to catch them all.
Okay. When Chunk got raped / kidnapped, one of the Fratelli brothers is singing in Italian, and he uses a cigarette as a microphone. Chunk comes up, he's like, "Mister, you gotta help me. We just gotta run over to but and perfect lighting. I mean, that was I've not seen that happen too many times, where the lighting cuts on and you see it in the rearview mirror. You show both of them. That's cinematography.
It almost looked like it was superimposed.
But I don't believe that it was, because they weren't doing that back then. But if you notice, I want you to go back and watch this as a person. I don't know what the was happening to the chunk in the back of that car before he got put in there, but something non-robbery kidnapping wise was going on. I'll just say that.
Yeah, there was some fraternizing with the Fratellis. And I've got that about that part right there where he walks up to them and says that. I've got that'll come up in Scene Stealers. There's something interesting that I found out about that part that only made me love Chunk more.
Okay.
Speaking of Chunk, my number one is the entire Chunk and Sloth subplot. Those two played well off of each other.
Easy,
What?
I'm saying easy, boy. Keep going. Easy.
I've got nothing but good things to say. I have no theories about anything going on. I just think that they were just, and I remember it as a kid watching it, that those moments being my favorite to watch. The way they communicated with each other, or the way we get to see them figure out how to communicate with each other, is so entertaining.
And now, final crowning touch to this cake. Talk about
And then he hits him in the head with the candy bar.
put it in a
The funniest part, though, is after he hits him in the head. And then you get Chung's hilarious voice. And they're going back and forth, and then like moments later they're awkwardly feeding it to each other. No word spoken. Like it is all just like what is happening here?
Listen, if we don't make it to season 4, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Season 4 is gonna be the rated R version of every movie we've ever done, and I'll tell you what I think was happening.
Not here. Don't do it.
I said not here.
Chunk and Sloth.
Oh, no. I'm not saying anything's wrong with them. It has nothing to do with them. But okay.
All the way to the last moment with them, where Chunk's like, "You're gonna live with me now."
Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
And again, another plug for Cast Crew Review coming up. We talk more about John Matizak, who played Sloth a little bit with Nick McLean. I think he's the one, he makes the movie. Like when you think of Goonies, obviously you think of Sloth. And the dude wasn't even like an trained actor. He was a defensive end turned actor for the Oakland Raiders.
Can I take a side note here to take a serious moment? When we were children, we knew nothing about this. They're just now giving it a name. Will Smith did a movie about it a long time ago. CTE, and this basically boils down to brain trauma. So rest in peace to the actor that played that, because I don't know why he died. Or I know the cause that was given was alcohol and pain.
It was an accidental prescription drug overdose, but why did he have to be on prescription drugs? Probably because of and he probably abused them because of
Then there you go.
Yeah, he died in 1989. Rest in peace. Some Goonies do die.
Right, but he's super sloth. Okay, for me, I only have 2 more. Honorable mention was the dumbest, hottest, horniest girl ever, Carrie Green. I'm not talking to you. I don't know you, so I can't say what type of person you are, but the next 13 to 30 seconds, they are not reflected towards you, just the character you play, which means you did an awesome job. If there was ever a dumb stereotype of a female in the fucking 80s, first, she's like, oh no, not Brand. She was like, oh no, don't look down my skirt, don't look down my shirt. Okay, you're in the Corvette, you're doing all this stuff. I'm going full Tarantino right now. You're doing all this, you don't want that happening. The moment you got the car, oh yeah, you wanted some Goonies, all right. You were fucking hot to try the moment you got that car. As soon as you find Josh Brolin, you lose it. You don't even just want Josh Brolin. You're so naive that even your best friend tells you, like, hey, next time open your face, genius. She was like, yeah, you're right. But isn't it funny? Brand must have been standing in some hole. He ain't got braces. He's not that short. You like dick. You like dick from anybody. You like dick and attention from it. Yeah. DNA.
You wanted him to be in that hole.
Oh, right. And then here's the part. The moment I started feeling misogynistic, the movie corrected me and said, no, Mr. Royal, you're right. Because the moment they're about to get up, Brand and has to look at her and say, what are you, crazy? They're here. Yeah. Like, this is still trying to get dick.
Wasn't it like 5 minutes after they met, she was like trying to have a moment with Josh Brolin, trying to kiss him? They're like, whoa, we are being pursued.
Correct. She didn't care what she originally.
No, she's pursuing.
Right, but you went from not wanting to be nobody looking at you to willing to in a cave.
Yeah. Oh, don't let Steph totally off the hook, because she's the worst woman ever. Like,
if I was in that movie, that's what I wanted.
She knew what was going on the whole time.
She wanted that mouth,
and she's just
laughing. She wanted that mouth. Yeah. Well, literally.
In real life, they did not get along. Corey Feldman and Plimpton.
Well, you ever seen Dirty Dancing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know you have. You know they didn't get along.
Oh yeah. No, that's heartbreaking.
Do the line. Do the line, bitch. You wasn't talking about coke. I thought I was an actor. See, do the line, bitch.
You want to talk about dumb bitches? Steph is.
Whoa, Steph, what are you doing? No.
I said you want to talk about.
No, Lady in the Tramp, the movie.
Steph, when they're getting the when they are under the wishing well, that dumb bitch says,
"What are you doing?"
Because she is. Even if she was a dude, I would still be saying that dumb bitch.
Okay. We're back. Okay, we can do that.
It doesn't matter who said this. She goes, don't take the money.
Because
these are somebody else's wishes. They're somebody else's dreams.
Oh no, that was dumb. The only dumber
I
thing
would've
was
said
no. This was here.
This was my dream, my wish. And it didn't come true. So I'm taking it back.
And I'm taking them all back, and he just nosedives into the when did he come up?
yeah.
What the is going on?
Yeah, there was no like door to dramatically exit out of, so he just went underwater.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my god. Chunk's confession. Jesus Christ. That's for you, Mom. Not mine, the other one. Chunk's confession, man. Like when he was like talking about all the things he's done, and he was like, and one of the worst things I ever did, I was home and I mixed up some fake pew, and it took a little while, took a few days, and I went to the movie theater and I waited, and then I went to the top of the movie theater and I started making sounds like this. And then I threw it all over the side, and then everybody else started throwing up, because that's not a myth. If you see throw up, you'll throw up. Mm-hmm. To me, his diatribe, he was so good that the Fratelli brothers said, "Hey, Ma, I'm starting to like this kid." Hey, Rocco, hey. So to me, that monologue could first off, maybe it was written, but it was not scripted that way, because
it was largely improvised. Right. I could shed a little insight on this. Okay. I remember reading about this one. A lot. It was all based on truth. Mm-hmm. The words, the stories, because the names that he mentions are actually like the name of his actual sister, his uncle, his dog. Mm-hmm. The puke story really happened to Steven Spielberg, I believe. That was based on something with him, and the emotion came from a real place, because he said he just thought about his mom dying.
Oh, well, damn.
But yeah, everything in that came from like a real place.
So guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's never been a more comprehensive breakdown of this film. So once again, subscribe. Once again, check out TTFT.live. Once again, contribute through Patreon. Once again, listen through Anchor. And once again, understand that we're not going to stop. You can't stop us. And hey, listen, be a super sloth. Florida man, Tyrone, Florida man.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.